What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm Matt over at DSR, and today I am taking out this absolutely gorgeous M1000R from Dick Lovett in Bristol. Looking at this beast, it is pushing out 210 brake horsepower and 113 newton meters of torque. A couple of days ago I was out on the Ducati Streetfighter V4S, and that was at the time the most horsepower bike I've been on, 208, and today I am breaking it with this 210. Now, enough standing around talking and looking at this bike. I want to get on and ride this and see what it's all about. Let's get on the road. I have already taken out the S1000R. You can see that video in the top right hand corner now, and I love that bike. It was a great bike, better than the Yamaha MT10, which I did own, but this is now a step up in the game. The M1000R has 45 brake horsepower more than the S1000R. I'm expecting good things from this bike. Similar to the Ducati Streetfighter, the seat is quite hard and it is quite raised up at the rear. My top half is quite over, it's quite leaning onto the handlebars, so there is going to be some weight onto my wrists, but we'll see how we get on today. This bike's only got 256 miles on, so we're going to take a little bit easy today, especially still in its braking period. And I believe BMW, for their initial braking period, kind of restrict the bike, restrict the engine slightly. Some people do that, as in some manufacturers. If I am correct, this has got the latest S1000R engine inside it. I haven't ridden an S1000R yet. Hopefully next week I'll be getting out on that, so you'll be able to compare it. As you would expect with an inline 4, the engine is super smooth, and the gear changes with the quick shifter up and down on this, it's just buttery. I am noticing some vibrations coming through the pegs, and also a little bit in the tank, which is hitting my crotch area. Not that I complain. This bike feels super light, even just in this kind of slow 20-30 mile an hour speed. Slow speed, manoeuvrability and handling, it's just so light. Any potholes or speed bumps or anything you want to get past, it just drops past it. We do have cruise control, nice to see, especially when you are in these kind of slower speed 20 mile an hour zones. Sometimes you can get a little bit carried away with that wrist. When looking at this and the Ducati Streetfighter V4, obviously you've got the S1000R and then the Streetfighter V4, and you've got the M1000R and the Streetfighter V4S. That's where I'd pitch these two together. Throughout this video I'm going to compare back and forth slightly between the V4S and the M1000R. Both bikes have got an extra tier onto their model lineup, i.e. the M1000R, you can put the competition package on it, which pretty much blacks it out and puts carbon across the whole thing, and it looks beautiful. The V4S, you can either then go for the V4 SP2 or the V4 S Lamborghini. This bike has got 4 rider modes. We've got rain, road, dynamic and race. I'm currently in dynamic. Second gear, keeping it around 20 miles an hour is really easy. The fuel on this is spot on, so there's no jerkiness, there's no kind of on off when you're keeping it open, that 5%, 10%, just to keep it at that 20 miles an hour speed. You never want it jerky, so you can't even keep it at that slow city speeds. Just had a short stint there on some dual carriageway, and as to be expected, this tiny little screen at the front kind of does nothing. End of the day though, this is a naked bike, and I say it on probably most of my naked bike reviews. I would rather have no windscreen, ignore this, no windscreen, because then I'm getting kind of clean air across the chest and across the helmet. I'm not getting no strange buffeting due to some screen. Then having a medium-sized screen on a bike like this, that just throwing air all into my helmet and give me some annoying wind turbulence kind of sound. So yeah, I much prefer this kind of style. The wind isn't too bad on dual carriageway. It's kind of what you'd expect. That quick shift all the way down, blip blip blip. The M1000R is going to sit you back £19,500, which in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's a lot of money, but then it's not. You are getting a lot for your buck. So bang to buck ratio, I think we're okay. Who honestly nowadays keeps a bike for the duration until they've paid it all off? Not me, that's for sure. Ducati Streetfighter V4S, that's coming in at 22.9, I believe. So a good couple of £1,000 more than this M1000R. The only colour scheme you're going to get for the M1000R is this BMW red, white and blue. I think it looks beautiful. If you do want that black kind of carbon look, you're going to have to go for the competition package. That's going to set you back about £25,000. It's a lot of money to to want it in black. This bike is quick, there is absolutely no shadow of a doubt about that. I'd say the power curve is very linear though. It builds into it nicely. Looking at the Streetfighter and also the KTM 1290 Super Duke R, the way they make their power is completely different to this. This is kind of that manageable incline of power that you know what you're getting. The 1290 and the Streetfighter are both kind of crazy power. Like you twist that throttle and it just launches you. This is not the same. Yes, it's quick, but no, it's not punchy, powerful quick. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably doesn't make sense to me half the time. So put it into race mode, see if it changes the throttle. That's what I mean, it's quick, but it's not catch you out quick. Like this, if you have it in the wrong gear, you'll be okay. Are you okay?
Got recovery. Puncture.
Always.
Sorry, Ollie. Stop.
No worries. That right there is also the difference with bikers. It's not a normal place to stop. Pulled over, see what's wrong. He's got a puncture. Luckily, he's got recovery on the way. Some of the extra bits you're going to get with this M package then. So we've got the M seat. I'll tell you how we get on with it. It's quite hard at the minute, but we'll see how we get on for the day. We've obviously got these M winglets on the side of the bike down here. These winglets are claimed at 135 miles per hour to put an extra 11 kilos of downforce on the front end. That's like having an 11 kilo child just sat on that front, keeping it down. We've got the M battery, which more than likely is just going to be a lithium battery. We've got some forged wheels, which really help with this flickability in these type of roads. Really just drop it in so easily. We've got electronic suspension on here. I'm 115 kilos. So far, not finding any issues. Sometimes I do find I'm either pogoing, so I'm just a bit too heavy and they need to be stiffened up. I like to leave the suspension, when it's electronic, on auto, just to let it do its thing, rather than me messing around with it. But the beautiful thing is, if you own it, you can mess around as much as you want. And the other thing for me, I think it's probably the best part about this M1000R, these brakes are absolutely insane. And me, I'm all about aggressive, what I call one finger braking. This bike is restricted to, I think, about 9,000 RPM, so that's what I mean by the braking service. Anyway, back to the brakes. Yeah, absolutely insane. Super sharp. Super Toucar and the Streetfighter, the brakes are some of the best stock brakes I've tried. And on a bike like this, you need it. Good, I think my GoPro Hero 9 is on its way out. Definitely some vibrations, high pitch vibrations coming through the handlebars when you're getting on it in these twisties. That shifter is so smooth. I'm having fun. I don't know if you could tell in the video, I'm enjoying myself. This bike would be absolutely insane on the track. Saying about the forged wheels helping with that flickability, this bike has got a wet weight 199 kilos, which means it handles absolutely sublimely. Sublimely, is that even a word? Where you want this thing to go, it'll go. Let's find somewhere to pull over, have a little walk around this beast of a bike. This'll do.
The M1000R has a seat height of 835mm. I'm 6'1" and I've got both feet flat on the floor. So even if you are slightly vertically challenged, you're going to be alright riding this. As I said at the start of the video, it is quite an aggressive riding stance. The pegs are more in line with your bum, which is going to mean that after a long day in the saddle, your knees are going to start to suffer, basically. So whenever the pegs are a little bit further back, me personally, when I get into the aggressive twisties, I like to ride my toes on the pegs, and then when I'm kind of around town and just chilling out a little bit more, I'll move my heels forward just to give me a little bit of extra release on the old knees. Tell me what you think about this M1000R. Are you going to go for the standard S1000R, or are you going to make your penny stretch a little bit further and go for the M? I'm liking this one. Some extra features then on the M1000R. We have got these foldable clutch and brake levers. Nice to see, especially if you do come off. Hopefully they won't break and they'll just bend up. We've got bar end mirrors. I think on a naked bike, bar end mirrors just kind of finish the look and keep it nice and clean. Kind of keep a low profile on the handlebars, which I really like. But not only that, they're actually pretty decent. I can see at least 75% of the mirror behind me. I'm quite wide, so I tend to find my elbows do take up a lot of the mirrors, but not with this bike. We have got an Akrapovic titanium exhaust silencer on this bike as well. You can pay for the headers if you want, but it sounds nice, it looks good, and it just kind of finishes the bike off. As I've said, these are some of the best stock brakes I've tested on a road bike. We've got two 320s at the front, a single 220 at the rear, but for me it's going to be the calipers. These are Brembo's own M Sport calipers. They're just so sharp. It's everything I personally would look for when I'm testing brakes. This here then is that M Sport seat. It's got a nice logo. So far I'm not having any issues with it. We've got a nice seat cowl, colour coded with the bike. A 16 litre tank on this, so it is not the biggest. If I'm getting over 100 towards 150 miles, I'll be a happy man. Still more than the Aprilia. There are two other seat options. You can get the lowered seat, which will drop it from 835 to 810, or you can get the taller seat, which will bring it from 835 up to 850. I am loving the BMW in the red, white and blue. Heated grips as well as standard. And you've got your mode button on the right hand side. Start this again, because for the M1000R, the TFT screen has got a special M startup. And then finally we do have LEDs all round. Quick sound test then. I appreciate it won't sound as good as when we are out on the road, but it's all we can do for now. That little pop at the end. Woo! It sounds good.
A nice added feature onto this bike from its bigger brothers is it also has hill hold control. Just squeeze front brake or the rear brake hard and you'll get a little green H on the left hand side, and that'll mean the bike is holding the brakes for you. I use it on my GSA, even if I'm on just a slight incline or decline, just to stop me rolling forward when I'm in neutral. I'll just pull it, so that means I don't have to worry about keeping my foot on the brake. Gonna go through the town just up here, just see how it handles, kind of city riding. But I mean, just guessing already, because of the weight, because of how easily it just flicks left and right, just say getting around potholes or anything like that would just be a breeze. With this bike being just so smooth, I think my only real gripe is the vibrations that comes through the handlebars, the pegs and the tank on the old crotch area. To me, that's probably the biggest gripe I've got for this bike. Some of the extra electronics that you can go and fiddle around with. It's got wheelie control, it's got slide control. I mean, there's a few parameters you can go and adjust to suit your type of riding. But I think for about £19,500, it's a fantastic bike. So that throttle response, it's just so responsive that you can keep it at your 20 miles an hour, second gear, third gear. What I really like with this engine as well is you can kind of be in the wrong gear and it will still behave itself. So on an incline, hard pull on the brake, and there you go, top left, green H. So the brake is now held for me. And then to release that hill hold, just pull away like normal and the bike will do it all for you. Just going to put it into wet mode quickly, or rain mode should I say. It's one of them, it's still going to be more than quick enough if you wanted to leave it in rain mode, but it definitely kind of dulls that throttle just a little bit, just to tame some of that 210 brake horsepower. Just going to jump on a bit of dual carriageway and motorway, get towards Dick Lovett. I will catch up with you when I get off the motorway. Well, there we go, a few miles on the motorway, and I can tell you, mirrors with the vibrations at motorway speed are very buzzy. Can't really see, kind of make out a car rather than seeing the car. I don't know how many miles I'd be able to do on the motorway with these vibrations. My fingertips are already starting to go kind of the old white fingertips, a bit numb. The only saving grace is it does have cruise control, so you will be able to set it and kind of rest those hands. Every bike nowadays has its pros and cons. This bike, power is smooth delivery, it's kind of linear, like I said. Vibrations are the biggest problem. Streetfighter, the power is just instantly there, but I was getting a hot calf from the exhausts. Both of these bikes, the seats are quite high and very aggressive. Your top half, like I said, is leant over the handlebars. These type of bikes are absolutely perfect if you live near the twisties or you're going to be doing track days. I wouldn't be getting something like this for doing any form of long distance touring. But then again, you wouldn't be picking this if that's what type of bike you wanted. I have massively enjoyed my time on this bike, and it wouldn't be possible without the channel supporters. So thank you very much, Dick Lovett in Bristol. You've been a gem for letting me out on this. If you are in the market for an M1000R, head on over to there, get yourself out on this. Or even if you just want to test out the S1000R, they've also got that on demo. But that's been my full riding review of the 2023 BMW M1000R. If you did enjoy this video, like it, leave a comment below. Would you be looking at this or the S1000R? But more importantly, subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty more videos coming soon. And until the next one, ride safe.